just a brief opportunity then for the mover to wind up.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Betts. It's an honour to serve under your chairmanship, and I want to congratulate also my honourable friend, the member for Waveney, on securing this important debate during this Colleges Week. I'm sure we're all delighted to be back in Westminster Hall, and I can't think of a better and more important topic than the role of FE colleges in our vital skills-led recovery from COVID-19. And I want to genuinely thank all of the honourable members here today for their support for FE colleges, for their support for technical education, and I genuinely know that they all do love our colleges. So thank you all for your contributions. FE colleges and providers have never been as important as they are now. Now, for some of us, they've been important for a long time. I certainly attended mine 35 years ago, but for many people, they are going to become so vital as people up and down the country, many of whom will face changed circumstances, and their prospects will change in such a short period of time, which is highly unusual. The colleges have responded brilliantly during this crisis, and they're continuing to do so as we look towards recovery. And I'd like to place on record my huge thanks to this sector. Every week I've heard how colleges are supporting not just their learners and vulnerable students, but the wider communities. They were making scrubs and masks for the NHS. They were delivering food parcels and meals to the most vulnerable, all kinds of fundraising events, and the stories that you hear from FE colleges are truly amazing. Before COVID-19 struck, longer-term reforms to the skills system were already underway, because for generation after generation, technical education has been undervalued and neglected. And this neglect must come to an end, and it will come to an end. Now, I'm glad we started our technical education reforms when we did, because they are going to be so important to this recovery, boosting productivity and offering young people a real choice of high-quality training and pathways to successful careers that are equal in esteem to traditional academic routes. It won't have escaped anyone that the world has gone digital, and we are living through this technological revolution. Indeed, the Honourable Member for Warrington South pointed out how important this is, and the honourable members for North West Durham and Mansfield. It's a key pillar to levelling up and providing opportunity for all in these towns that will very much need this support to recover from coronavirus, and for many years have also felt that they have been neglected. So it's fantastic and timely to see that colleges and other providers have begun the rollout of T-levels for 16 to 19-year-olds. A number of members mentioned their support for this, and I was delighted to hear it. This represents the biggest reform of post-16 education since A-levels were first introduced 70 years ago. It's attracting an investment of £500 million each year once they are fully rolled out, and the introduction of these new pioneering qualifications was challenging during the pandemic. So to all of those 44 providers who battled through to get these new qualifications delivered during very challenging times, thank you. But it was just too important to delay. We've waited a long time to put this bedrock for our technical education in place, which is working with employers and employer-led standards to make sure that we invest in the right areas and we invest in the right things. We're also investing up to £290 million of capital funding to establish 20 institutes of technology across every region in England. And I want to reassure my honourable friend, the honourable member for Harlow, that of course these will be a pinnacle of technical education and technical training. They are unique collaborations between colleges, universities and businesses, and they will offer high technical education and training in key economic sectors, such as digital construction, advanced manufacturing and engineering. The first 12 are being rolled out, and the competition for the next wave was launched on the 8th of October. And the opportunity for innovative, high-tech proposals to come forward is now there. So the DFE will very much welcome any new proposals for the second wave of the Institutes of Technology. We also need to increase the take-up of higher level qualifications, levels 4, 5 and 6, as were mentioned by the Honourable Member for North West Durham. These higher technical qualifications are absolutely key, and they give people of all ages the opportunity to develop a prestigious, high-quality, high-technical route, if that's right for them. The Prime Minister has been very clear on supporting that choice. Getting a loan for a high-value technical course should be as easy as getting one for a degree, whether it's taught in an FE college or a university. And the new funding system will open up new alternatives and ensure that further education colleges and providers have the same access to funding that universities do, and remove the bias, as the Prime Minister put it, that propels young people into universities and away from technical education. And technical education is very much part of the Lifetime Skills Guarantee announced at the end of last month. We're already engaging with colleges on some of the measures to be delivered from April next year, particularly the first level 3 funding for adults. And this will give adults who missed out on that opportunity the chance by fully funding their first full level 3. It will focus on valuable courses that will help them in the labour market. We'll be supporting providers to develop more level 3 provision, and will encourage them to do so, and will monitor the demand from adults very closely. One of the important aspects of our recovery is also supporting the most disadvantaged, and further education colleges do a lot to really provide opportunities and social mobility for the most disadvantaged in our society. So we have already been investing 20% of learners in FE have some learning difficulty or disability, which is why I'm very happy to give way.
Thank you. I thank her for her important speech. One of the biggest problems in terms of encouraging people to do FE and skills is the lack of proper careers advice promoting apprenticeships and skills in schools. And despite the Baker Clause, which was meant to change this, it hasn't changed a lot. And so what are your plans to ensure that schools encourage skills, apprenticeships and further education and give it an equality of prestige with university?
My honourable friend is absolutely correct, and this has been a long-standing problem, and actually one I had a meeting on just before coming here, because it is a key pillar of our FE skills white paper is also careers, making sure that everybody understands the routes. There has been a lot of work done by the Career Enterprise Company as well to make sure that young people get a broad range of opportunities to talk to businesses, look at career opportunities, visit colleges and universities, etc. But it's absolutely right, not everybody gets all of the information that they need to make an informed decision. You're all aware, I'm sure, of the skills recovery package, the Chancellor's plan for jobs. There's a lot of investment in apprenticeships, in traineeships, classroom-based study, and also we're extending the National Careers Service and putting an extra £32 million in to provide additional support for careers support. FE providers have always been key to delivering adult education as well, and so as we develop our plans for reskilling adults, these plans include an extra £2.5 billion over the course of this Parliament for the National Skills Fund. And contrary to the Honourable Gentleman for Chesterfield, my Honourable Shadow Minister opposite, the National Retraining Scheme has not been scrapped. It will be built on and become part of a much bigger fund, which is the National Skills Fund. So it was £100 million for the National Training Scheme. It's £2.5 billion for the National Skills Fund. We've also seen that... I will give way on that point.
Confirm if the Get Help to Retrain scheme has been scrapped.
The Get Help to... Thank you. The Get Help to Retrain scheme was a pilot website in 6 areas, and all of the learnings from those pilots will be brought in to the new National Skills Fund. So it will be called something else, but it will be, the learnings will not be lost. Digital boot camps are also a new addition. I'm sure lots of members will welcome that. The policies outlined are all part of a wider rebalancing between HE and FE and making FE a more attractive choice. But we're not leaving out the basics. We mentioned capital programme funding. In the past, a lot of that has gone via the LEPs in the intervening period and not always been ring-fenced, so that has led to some shortages in some areas. My honourable friend, the member for Waveney, has raised some interesting ideas, including business centres and focused areas of investment, and there will be much discussion between colleges, the Association of Colleges, business groups and the government to address these issues. We are listening to ideas on how to strengthen the sector, and we will be publishing a white paper in the near future. There has never been a more important time. We're facing significant skills shortages in key sectors. My honourable friend mentioned construction, engineering, many others. Until recently, we had low levels of unemployment as well. However, the prospects of dire levels of unemployment mean that now is the time to ensure that we invest in our FE sector and build back better as a nation. Thank you.
Call Peter Aldous to wind up.
Thank you very much, Mr. Betts. It's been a very wide-ranging, we covered a lot in an hour. I'll just quickly highlight some of the things that members have raised. The member for Sheffield, Brightside and Hillsborough mentioned that colleges are the greatest tool in combating poverty. My right honourable friend, the Chairman of the Select Committee, the member for Harlow, made the social justice case for a pupil premium for disadvantaged pupils. The member for Bath showed that her college is deeply embedded in her community. The member for Loughborough highlighted how her college is getting involved in Kickstart. The member for York Central showed collaborative working on the Bio Yorkshire initiative. The member for Mansfield highlighted the problems there is with the apprenticeship levy for SMEs. The member for North West Durham highlighted the role in levelling up. The member for Ruislip, Northwood and Pinner talked about the global expertise coming from his colleges, and the member for Warrington South highlighted the opportunities and the challenges of the digital age. The clock is ticking on, and let's for a very brief minute, for a few seconds, Mr. Betts, let's suppose that clock is ticking to midnight, and Cinderella, let's make sure that she really does disappear this time. And this is no longer the Cinderella service, and Cinderella part of education, and we will not need VAR to determine whether that is the case. Thank you.
Order, order. The sitting stands adjourned.